As the battle between development and the environment wages on, we're forced to come up with innovative strategies to face the threats of climate change. Under international summits, many countries around the world have united to control temperature rises by cutting greenhouse gas emissions. To do so, sustainable technologies are necessary to both adapt and mitigate the damages we have already left. Renewable energy sources such as solar farms and hydroelectric dams present hopeful solutions as they by and far eliminate greenhouse gas emissions. Brazil is a country that utilizes dams and currently has over 50 and plans on creating more around the country to harness energy from its great rivers. Simply constructing dams, however, isn't an easy task. Social and environmental issues may arise like land eviction and degradation. In the case of indigenous groups, this means abandoning sacred lands and jeopardizing cultural existence. Brazil's most recent hydroelectric dam project, the Belo Monte, finds itself embroiled in conflict for these very reasons. The Belo Monte Dam is an ongoing estimated $19 billion project by Norte Energia located on Brazil's Single River, an area inhabited by 25,000 indigenous people from 40 ethnic groups. Supposed to be the world's fourth largest dam with an 11,233 megawatt capacity, the project is highly prized by energy producers. Although the dam was conceived in 1975, continual issues surrounding indigenous rights, environmental hazards, and questionable economic value have prolonged this project for over 40 years. In 2011, Norte Energia commenced construction despite protest, and to this day continues to find itself in natural conflict. As an environmental watchdog organization, we have tasked ourselves to decide if the Belo Monte Dam constitutes a sustainable energy solution. To come to an opinion, we have considered three angles of the controversy: environmental justice concerns, environmental health, and the economic value of the project. As we will outline, we have found that in considering these three aspects of sustainable development, the Belo Monte Dam fails to meet acceptable criteria. We hope that the following information will make clear the extensive threats this project poses to sustainability and why it must not continue. There are about 188 different indigenous tribes in Brazil, 40 of which live on the Single River. You would think that the protection of rich cultural legacies might be one of Brazil's greatest concerns. Though in the past Brazil joined organizations like the UNDRIP in 2007 and the FUNAI, which guarantees indigenous rights, Brazil has turned its back by going forward with the Belo Monte. The dam plans to dig several canals and a central dam, creating a 440-kilometer squared reservoir over indigenous land. 40 indigenous groups have reacted against the project, creating alliances with each other, and have even threatened war. Why is this project so serious to the indigenous tribes? After all, the Belo Monte Dam is poised to deliver massive amounts of clean energy. Well, the dam is said to leave serious impacts on the indigenous life, mainly destroying their vibrant fisheries and agricultural land caused by the construction. Most importantly, to the indigenous groups, the word Singo means house of God. As people tied to the land through culture and livelihood, maintaining their ancient lifestyle is crucial to their existence. For nearly 40 years, the Belo Monte Dam has disregarded its pledges to indigenous tribes like Article 231 of its own constitution. This constitution states that the removal of Indian groups from their lands is forbidden except in life-threatening situations. Environmental agencies already estimate that 40,000 people, twice what was expected, have already been displaced. Though the project will not be completed into 2019, locals Tamawar Paracana and her family have already felt the effects of forced removal, finding it very hard to get jobs in their resettlement community. Without the river, where food was plentiful and could be gotten for free, hunger is rampant, and finding work is necessary, but near impossible. It has been hard to adapt to urban life. As we consider environmental justice as a hallmark of sustainable development, Brazil's disregard of its indigenous people is a clear violation of this key tenet. Brazil is the world's #1 country when it comes to biodiversity, with over 61,265 different species of plants, freshwater fish, mammals, birds, and reptiles. In the Singo River, there are 600 mostly endemic fish species, because of the dam's draining of water along 62 miles of the river. The black and white pattern zebra plecofish, the sunshine pleco, the slender dwarf pike chichald, and the plant-eating piranha face extinction. In addition, land species such as the single dart poison frog, the white-cheeked spider monkey, and the black-bearded saki monkey will be severely affected by deforestation and flooding. The radical change in the ecosystem will see the disappearance of species, but also the entrance of new ones. What seems like a simple transaction can mean serious things for the biodiversity. Outside organisms will bring in new diseases and behaviors that disrupt the ecobalance. These are serious implications to consider. Brazil has agreed to reduce emissions by 38% by 2020, and the Belo Monte Dam can be seen as a step towards that goal. But reservoirs in tropical conditions can actually become a significant source of greenhouse gases from decomposing vegetation trapped under the foliage jungle. According to Philip Fernstein, an expert on reservoir emissions, the first 10 years of operation will result in 4 times the amount of emissions a fossil fuel plant would create. After 20 years, that figure will still be at 2.5 fossil fuel emissions. Furthermore, Fernstein states that the water outflow through turbines will match the depths of trapped methane, releasing it as a greenhouse gas. Brazil's intentions of using renewable resources follow the right direction towards a greener world. However, the ideas are not always feasible. The environment concerns should be enough to stop the project.
The threats this project poses to the environment and social well-being leaves us to wonder what its economic value is. While Belo Monte was supposed to create 18,000 direct jobs, after the dam's completion, many workers were laid off and have begun competing with relocated indigenous people. What short-term jobs were offered have led to an insufficient job market. The main economic impacts caused by environmental degradation are ruined arable land and destroyed fisheries, which have sent indigenous families scrambling for work in new environments. While the government claimed Belo Monte would supply 40% of Brazil's household energy needs, a 2009 report found that the dam's environmental impact study neglected large seasonal changes in the river flow. This results in a more than 60% difference between the dam's estimated 11,233 megawatt production capacity and its average estimated output around 4,500 megawatts. According to The Economist, during low flow periods it could drop as low as only 800 to 1,000 megawatts. To put numbers to these points, we looked at a study which has combined social costs with environmental externalities to present a cost-benefit analysis to see just how impactful this dam will be. In their 2010 study, Wilson Cabral Jr. and John Reed provide three potential scenarios: the optimistic outlook, the realistic outlook, and a simulated risk analysis. In the optimistic scenario, the net present value comes to $670 million. However, the projection does not include every external cost and is subject to lower value. And this is the most hopeful situation. In all likelihood, the second scenario shows the net present value at negative $3 billion, which includes social costs of roughly $331 million. The final risk analysis concludes that there is a 72% chance that Belo Monte's costs will exceed the benefits. The only way of increasing the odds would be to expand construction, which would create even worse effects on the environment and population. As the provided data shows, especially the cost-benefit analysis, when it comes to the Belo Monte Dam, the economic value is questionable at best and disastrous at worst. The Belo Monte Dam does not constitute sustainable development and is honestly a weak investment. Its violation of indigenous rights threatens the existence of 40 of Brazil's tribes. In terms of the environment, dam construction will severely weaken the river's health, destroying livelihoods, and ironically lead to more dirty emissions. At the end of the day, it is simply not an economically smart investment. Three different cost-benefit scenarios conclude that it is unlikely that it will yield positive returns. By violating three clear aspects of sustainable development, environmental justice, environmental health, and smart economics, we cannot support the Belo Monte Dam project. We urge the world to pressure Brazil and the energy powers behind it to cease construction. With its projected global impact through dirty emissions, this project is not just a threat to Brazilian natives, but really to the health of the world.